to the March Madness Feline 4 Cat Food Duel.
Here is what the bracket looks like today. I think in the future I'm going to do more of these with a broader spectrum of foods and just always be experimenting to see and find out what I like and everything. But in today's bracket I'm using what I have on hand, and I'm going to use the raw food that I make, and I'll show the recipe in a minute. And that's the number one seed. That's obviously the best food in my opinion. And then next on the bracket is the number 4 seed, and that is Purina One dry kibble cat food. Now it's a pretty decent dry food as far as, it's grain free and it's supposed to use real chicken and stuff. We'll get into the ingredients here in a minute. And the next matchup we're going to have Purina One wet food True Instinct tuna recipe. That's the number 3 seed. And the number 2 seed is Purina One grain-free chicken recipe. Now that's not the True Instinct kind. They're a little bit different, and this one is my favorite one of all the Purina One brands. And we'll get into the ingredients right now. But here's the raw cat food recipe that I make, and I did a video on that. I'll try to post a link to that video, but this is what's in the raw cat food I make. And she loves it. She absolutely devours it. No problems there. That's what I feed her basically 98% of the time. And this is the True Instinct high protein, grain-free, dry kibble. And you can see some information about it here, and you can see the ingredients. The number 1 ingredient is chicken and chicken meal. It does have pea starch, cassava flour, soybean meal, some things like that I'm not stoked about. Pea protein, canola meal, dried yeast, soy concentrate. All of those plant-based ingredients I try to eliminate as much as possible. That's why she's basically on a raw meal diet with protein only and some fish oils 98% of the time. Pretty much with any kibble cat food, they're going to have to use some kind of binders and things, so it's really hard to get away from the soy proteins and corn meal and soy meals and things. I just basically only use it as a treat and for when I'm like out of raw food and it has to be thawed or whatever. I barely feed it to her at all. I feed it to her like treats because sometimes Mavi just goes bonkers and she needs food just to settle down. I wouldn't really try to sell you this cat food as a recommendation, and I'm going to switch brands as soon as I go to the store and buy food next time.
Our contestant is ready to do some food testing. Please hurry up with the food. I can't reach my food bowl. Excuse me. Let's get ready to rumble!
Here we go in bracket 1 of our Feline 4 March Madness tournament. We have raw food on the left and Purina One dry kibble on the right. You gotta be kidding me. Okay, in a huge round 1 upset, Mavi has chosen the dry kibble over her raw food. In between each round, the bowls were washed and cleaned to sterilize the palate, and we're on to the next round. And by the way, Mavi eats like a crazed lunatic, so I don't even know if she thought about where she was going. She just sees food and eats. But that's beside the point. It is what it is. I don't make up her mind. I just play the game. So here is the next 2 contestants, and this is Purina One grain-free chicken recipe, which is a really good food. I've seen other reviewers do reviews on this and they get basically A reviews. The number one ingredient in this is chicken. It's a very short ingredient list. There is chicken, liver, chicken broth, pork lungs, fish, and then that's basically it. Then there's a bunch of vitamins and minerals, and it meets the AFCO standards, so it's a good balanced meal. I don't see basically any vegetable products or soy-based ingredients or very little fillers in this at all. So I really like this food. I'm gonna try different ones and do some more reviews coming up and probably some more cat food duels. But this looks really good. Like I said, it's a short list of ingredients, a lot of protein and fish and everything, and then vitamins and minerals to make it a balanced meal. It looks good to me, so we're gonna move on. Next is the Purina One True Instinct, and this is the tuna recipe. Now there's several ones. There's tuna, turkey, and chicken, I think, and they all kind of have a similar texture. They kind of have that shredded, chunky texture. So whether it's tuna or whether it's chicken, it looks the same. But you can see the ingredients in this. And what I don't like about this is it has a few plant-based ingredients that the other one does not have. Tuna broth is the number one ingredient, and chicken, pork lungs, liver. But this one does have corn oil, soy protein concentrate, xanthium gum, and it has wheat gluten in it. And that's about it. But there's just a few other plant-based ingredients in this one that I didn't care for. And my cat seems to shake her head and throw it around a lot when she eats it. So it's not my favorite food, and it also makes her poop stink. Here we go. In the next matchup in the bracket, it's the Purina One True Instinct on the left and the Purina One Chicken on the right. And again, she upsets with the Purina One True Instinct, the one that has the corn oil in it and soy and stuff. But she quickly tried to go for the other one, and like I said, she's a crazed lunatic when she eats. I really don't think she even knows or thinks about where she's going. She just runs to the food. And a side note, my cat is not a certified feline nutritionist, so she doesn't really know what's best for her. But regardless, she chose the Purina One True Instinct tuna recipe, so that's what we're going to go with here. I just think this is a fun idea to do, and by no means should you let my cat dictate which food you should buy, but I'm trying to give you an idea of what I like and don't like about each one of these foods. I like her raw food, obviously, is what she eats, and then that other Purina One chicken recipe is really good. Beyond that, I'm going to try a different variety of brands coming up in the future, and we'll look at some other wet cat foods, maybe some dry foods as well. But on with the final round, which is going to be the True Instinct tuna recipe versus Purina One dry kibble cat food. So here we go. You can see what I mean. She shakes her head immediately and throws a little piece out of the bowl. And when she has a full can of it, it kind of ends up all over the place. Nonetheless, this is the winner she chose today, though. So congratulations to the Purina One True Instinct tuna recipe.
And the winner is Purina One True Instinct protein-rich tuna recipe wet cat food.
Here is a look at the bracket that we just went through, and I'll post links in the description if you'd like to purchase any of these foods. I would recommend the Purina One grain-free chicken recipe, and if you're interested in how to make raw cat food, that video should be on the screen right now, and you can see how I make raw cat food and get all the ingredients and everything. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time, and I may do more of these videos in the future. Have a nice day.